Hey Canucks fans, let's talk about the Bo Horvat contract negotiations, 3 big retirements from the NHL, and my experience at the Jake Milford golf tourney. I'm Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Tuesday, September the 20th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Got to work early today, so I thought I'd record this pretty quick before I start my work day. Thanks to everyone who joined me last night for my show at 11, Clay's Canucks commentary. And prior to that, thanks for joining Parker and me for Canucks After Dark. You can find both shows here on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform as well. Before I get to the Canucks news, let's talk a bit about NHL news first. 3 big retirements over the past 24 hours. We'll go in reverse order. It doesn't matter what order we're going in. They're all important. But it started off with Keith Yandle announcing his retirement last night, 35 years old and drafted way back in 2005. By the Phoenix Coyotes, and then he went Phoenix Coyotes, Rangers, Florida Panthers, and then finishing off with the Philadelphia Flyers. He had 19 points in 77 games with the Flyers last season, and overall he's played in 1,100 career games and had 619 points in those 1,100 career games, and also set the Iron Man streak at 989 games in the NHL. So that's Keith Yandle. Then this morning we heard about Zdeno Chara from the Boston Bruins. The giant, the 6'9" giant, he announced his retirement. He was drafted way back in 1996 because he is, I believe, 40. How old is he? He's pretty old. He's like 40. I don't know how old he is, but he's 40 something. But he must be pretty old. If he's drafted back in 1996, goes 78. Yeah, he's probably 45 years old, actually, 44, 45 years old. But more importantly, he actually signed a 1-year contract to retire with the Boston Bruins, where he spent obviously the majority of his career. So Zdeno Chara, drafted way back in 1996 by the Islanders. Then it went Ottawa, then Boston, and then finished off with the Washington Capitals. Last season, he had 14 points in 72 games. And of course, a lot of accolades to Chara's name. He's a Stanley Cup champion, boo-hoo, I know, 2011. He is a Norris Trophy winner back in 2009, also a 6-time All-Star, and internationally he has 2 silver medals at the World Hockey Championships, and then a silver at the World Cup of Hockey. So he only made $750,000 last year. All these guys that kind of on their tail end of their career make small money, so he made $750,000, and in 1,700 career games, 1,680, he had 680 points. So not the same, points per game, say that Keith Yandle had, but a longer career and a more illustrious career. So yes, Zdeno Chara retiring after, I guess, close to 18 years in the NHL, which is pretty darn impressive. Then we heard about one of his rivals, so to speak, also retiring, and that is PK Subban. Now Subban, a lot of people were wondering, would he get a PTO with another team, including the Canucks? But looks like it's going to be all for naught, as he is not going to play next season. So he was drafted in 2007, 2 years after Yandle. He is 33 years old, so 2 years younger than Yandle. I guess that makes a lot of sense when you do the math. And he was a second-round draft pick by the Montreal Canadiens, and then he went Montreal Canadiens, then traded to Nashville in the Shea Weber deal, and then after that traded to the New Jersey Devils. Last year, he had, how many points did he have last year? It wasn't a lot. I don't know, I think it was 22 points or so. Yeah, 22 points in 77 games. And he was also a Norris Trophy winner back in 2013, 4 years after Chara won it. 2-time first NHL All-Star. And then I think also internationally, back-to-back gold medals with Team Canada at 28, 29, World Junior Hockey, and then Olympic gold in 2014. And his most recent contract, 8 years, $72 million, so $9 million. And he was standing to make maybe $900,000 on a PTO, if that. So he had 834 career games and 467 points, so over 0.5 points per game in his career. So 3, I think legend is too strong a word. I definitely say Chara is a legend. I'd say Subban is kind of close to a legend. I think Keith Yandle, very, very durable with his Ironman streak. Wouldn't call him a legend, but a very, very good player as well. So 3 very strong NHLers, 3 defensemen, all retiring within the past 24 hours. Let me know your thoughts on any or all of those players in the comments below. Let's talk about Bo Horvat. this is really interesting, you guys, because if you told me on September 20th that we'd be talking about Horvat needing a contract, but JT Miller had a long-term contract in the books, I would have said, I think you have that reversed. But here we are. And yes, as we're on the precipice of a new season, Bo does not have a contract. Now, Rutherford and Alvin would like to have that done before the season starts. I think all Canucks fans would love that. And things, as we've seen with JT Miller, can happen quite quickly. So we'll see how quickly this does or does not happen. Kind of interesting, though, we heard two different insiders say two different things yesterday. Frank Saravalli said the Canucks started off the negotiations with a number that starts with a 5. And Horvat's making 5.5 this season, so you think is the raise. So hopefully it's a 5.9 was the offer then, because anything less than that seems a tad insulting, but I get it. It's the start of negotiation. You start here, they start there, and you kind of work your way down into a point where you both agree. Whereas Elliot Friedman was saying that when it came to Horvat, some people are saying it's in the 6s. I've been saying 6.5 million. Of course, depends on the number of years. Where Friedman thinks that it's going to be in the 7s, 7 million, and even potentially approaching JT Miller money at $8 million a season. So really interesting. I guess they're not two contrasting views, but two different types of info. And both can be true. Saravalli is saying the Canucks opening salvo was very, very low, and then Friedman thinks it's going to ultimately wind up in the $7 million range. So that's going to be very fascinating to watch. Obviously, I've talked about this before. He's the captain. He's an acknowledged leader of the team on and off the ice, so good in the community. And most importantly, as a player, he's a proficient second-line center, might even be like one of the best third-line centers in the league if that's the way they line up. So let's watch this, Canucks fans, with obviously a lot of interest because, this is huge. And with Hughes and Demko and Besser for a few years, PD, and of course Miller locked up, Horvat is the kind of like the other guy, the other player of that core 6 that I always talk about. So let's keep an eye on this, and let me know if you're worried. I got to see Bo at the Milford. I'll talk about that in a second. He seemed relaxed, but what's he going to do? He's golfing. I think everyone was relaxed. But this is going to be, I think, the biggest story even throughout the preseason, and we'll see if it actually gets done before the start of the season. But like I said, both Saravalli and Friedman reporting that the two sides are not close. I'm not saying it's acrimonious or that there's any ill will, but they're simply saying I think the Canucks would love to be further ahead in the negotiations than they are right now. A couple other things. Niels Lundqvist traded from the Rangers to the Dallas Stars for a couple of draft picks, maybe a big asking price. So the Canucks are out on him. Still rumored to be linked to Ethan Bear. I'm not the biggest fan of Bear, but we'll see where that goes. Jake Virtanen signs a PTO with the Edmonton Oilers. And as I've always said, you guys have heard me say that sports are a very forgiving place. So Virtanen looked to rejuvenate his career in the province of Alberta. Finally, I want to quickly talk just for a couple of minutes about my experience at the Jake Milford tourney, because if you're on my live stream last night, you heard me talk about this in greater detail. But yeah, it was the first time that the players were at the Milford since 2019. And I remember volunteering at the 2019 tourney. There's only 8 holdovers from that team that I had met before, and that would be Hughes, Horvat, Pettersson, Besser, Pearson, Myers, Demko, and Miller. The rest of the guys have all come to the team in the past 2 or 3 seasons, but this is the first time that I've met so many of the new ones, or newer ones, and that would be everything from the 3 Russians to Garland to OEL to Jason Dickinson, Tucker Pullman, and many, many more. Jack Rathbone, really liked meeting him. Travis Dermott, really liked meeting him as well. Had a great chat with him. Really good chat with Connor Garland as well. But 2 quick stories I'll tell you about to wind up today's vlog. Number 1, Spencer Martin. I was helping Spencer Martin put his bag on his golf cart, and then he asked me how I'm connected to the team. I told him I'm a season ticket holder. I told him I make music. And then I also said I have a YouTube channel where I do daily vlogs. And he actually said, yeah, me and my family have watched your videos before. So that was kind of cool to hear Spencer Martin, the backup goaltender for the Canucks, say, or at least tell me that he watches these videos. So Spencer, if you're watching this one, thank you. I really appreciated talking to you yesterday. And what was really funny is, you guys know I have this running joke of when he makes saves, it's so loud, and the boom from his pads echoes throughout the arena. I always joke around that I think he's got a mic hidden in his pad. So I was telling him about that, and he seemed to acknowledge that he knew that I'd be making this joke about him. And he said, yeah, it must be just the Bauer pads that he used. So really cool that Spencer Martin acknowledged these videos, and that we had more importantly, that we had a really, really nice chat. Finally, I got to talk to Bruce Boudreau. I got to talk to Alvin as well, and Mikey O was great, but Bruce Boudreau, and I basically thanked him for doing that voiceover, that lead-in for me for my podcast and my YouTube show. And he goes, "Oh, I'm glad it worked out. I hope people like it." I said, "Oh yeah, they loved it. They were very surprised and they thought it was really cool." And then I actually showed him my 30-second intro with the graphics, the 10-second countdown, and then Bruce's intro to me. Hey, this is Bruce Boudreau, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary live. Let's go. That's kind of what he says, with some cool music by my friend Tubby going behind it. And I showed him the whole 30-second video, and he said, "Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool." So that was kind of cool to share that with Bruce Boudreau. Okay, I'll stop fanboying now. I'm a 48-year-old man. Generally, I was pretty good. As volunteers, we were instructed not to take pictures, not to ask for selfies, not to ask for autographs. I'm actually not big on that kind of stuff. Anyways, I just kind of like to talk to them, say, "Hope you have a great season," and how excited I am as a Canucks fan and season ticket holder to be at the games this season. So there we go, a bit of behind the scenes for you. And finally, speaking of season tickets, if you are looking to get to a game and you want to see my ticket list, we have seats in 319 in the upper bowl and 115 in the lower bowl. Send me an email at canuckclay@gmail.com, canuckclay@gmail.com, and I'll get those lists to you. Okay, that was a lot today. As always, thank you to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate and Perform and Transform, personal training and weight loss. Thank you to legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. And thanks to all of you for watching these videos and supporting me. Subscribe if you'd like to, like this video if you'd like to, leave a tip, a super thanks if you'd like to, become a member or upgrade your membership if you'd like to, and definitely leave a comment down below if you'd like to on anything I talked about, whether it's Horvat's contract negotiations, whether it's Chara, Subban, and Yandle retiring, Jake Virtanen on PTO, golfing with the Canucks, whatever you want to talk about, leave it in the comments below. I'll be sure to read it and reply when I can. And if you made it this far into the video, 12 minutes in, because I was on the golf course, just type in the word "for," F-O-R-E, not the number 4, but the word "for" that you shout out. We heard it a few times when you're trying to warn people of an errant ball. Type in the word "for," F-O-R-E, and then I know you made it to the end of this video. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.